A retired Duluth police lieutenant is suing the city. David Drozdowski, who spent about 2 decades on the force, claims that after Mike Sonoy was named police chief and Mayor Roger Reinert was elected, he saw a shift. Drozdowski alleges that there was an increase in what he called blatant discrimination, missing use of force records, apparent data manipulation, and other alleged wrongdoings. He claims that when he blew the whistle, the city retaliated, eventually putting him on administrative leave and ordering he undergo a psychological fitness for duty exam. After weeks of asking why, according to court records, the city attorney's office informed him they believed his job performance was declining and that he may be suffering from PTSD. Eventually, in March of 2025, Drozdowski says he retired in good standing to protect his benefits and pension. Now, we did reach out to Duluth police and city leaders today and are waiting to hear back.